This is Soweto, population roughly 1.5 million and the heartbeat of Gauteng. This week we come to you from one of South Africa's most famous townships. It's now in search of a modern brand identity. So what is Brand Soweto, this sprawling metropolis south of Johannesburg? We'll do our best to find out in a special edition. Also on the show today, in depth, with the world's most powerful man in advertising, Sir Martin Sorrell. So let's begin our quest for the heart and soul of Soweto as a symbol of defiance, inspiration, deprivation and hope. But those are all just useful adjectives. It's much, much more than that. With me now at the world-famous Hector Peterson Memorial here in Soweto is Toby Chance, who is co-founder of the recent Soweto Festival and Expo, along with Lebo Motsekgoa from the research agency Fushizi. He's someone that has got his finger firmly on the pulse of this beating brand. So, Toby, what's to love about Brand Soweto then?
Brand Soweto is all about strength in adversity. That's what has historically, I think, connected people around the world to Soweto, the fact that they've been incredibly defiant against huge adversity over many, many years. But I think what's changing and what I love about Soweto is the immense energy about it and the determination to improve the lives of the people in Soweto.
What's your view on that level, the shift in perception? Where does Brand Soweto need to go?
In the early days, Soweto used to belong to apartheid, that's the space he used to own as a place that survived, you know, some hardships.
But that still defines the brand in many ways.
No, that still does. But when you look at Soweto in terms of where Soweto is positioned, in terms of other townships, you know, Soweto is no longer just about the hot nightclubs and the fine women and so forth. Soweto now is becoming almost like a CBD. You go to the Jabulani section where they're trying to build their own Jabulani CBD. They've got the mall, they've got the fancy parks, they've got those type of things. So you cannot really just say Soweto now is about the music, it's about the acting. It's really now trying to move itself to becoming its own municipal of some sort. You know, and I guess that's where the brand is at the current moment.
So Toby, that's an interesting one, because if we have this fragmentation and if we have different areas within this broader precinct wanting to establish their own identity, is Brand Soweto itself starting to diminish?
Not at all. I think Brand Soweto is only emerging, actually. I think that Soweto, you know, the Orlando Towers are behind us. That's an iconic image. Next to that, just across the road, is the FNB Stadium and the Nasrec precinct, which is where we staged our event this year, and it's actually now regarded as being part of Soweto. I think that the museums, the work that's been done in Vilakazi Street, the immense development that's happening in the shopping centres, the University of Johannesburg, a phenomenal investment of 500 or 600 million rand, has transformed that campus. I think it's all about development and modernity, and the people of Soweto taking control of their own destinies.
So, Lebo, leading on from that, then how far are we down that road, I wonder?
Well, what's fascinating now for me is, you know, as a black person, when you go to every township, it's not about I'm from Soweto. I want to feel home in every township that I go to. Hence we call it Kasi. You know, so to those who don't really know Soweto like some of us do, we don't refer to Soweto as if Soweto. I'm going to Soweto and I tell people, I'm saying Kasi, Lokshin, it's home. The people have not started owning this brand. Honestly, in my opinion, the sense of entrepreneurship is still very grassroots. It's still about, I'm selling hats, I'm selling all those type of stuff. I mean, you look at our business, we were the first guys to run a corporate company in a township in 2004. It was very hard because there was no Black Diamonds, there was no Maponya Mall. So as it was very difficult to bring clients to the space. Right now, Soweto's got everything that the suburbs have. You know, I mean, it's the only township.
Getting there, yeah.
Well, we're there. There's only one thing we don't have. There's only one thing we don't. We don't have office parks.
Well, and it's, funnily enough, it's not just office parks, it's manufacturing. And on your way into Soweto along Old Potch Road, you see the Soweto Empowerment Zone, which has been basically moribund for 5 or 6 years. But now it's occupied but 75% by a very innovative company called Sakipa, which is a manufacturing entity. It's doing pipe extrusions, it's doing printing, it's doing, t-shirt manufacturing. It means that it's coming out of just being consumer orientated. I mean, a very important statistic that people need to understand is that Soweto accounts for 40% of Johannesburg's population, but only about 5% of its economic output. So there's a huge gap that needs to be closed for Soweto to be regarded as being a functioning economic entity. And so employing people in skills development, creating opportunities for entrepreneurship is really what's going to change
and
that.
That's your point, saying that the entrepreneurship quotient needs to be upped, doesn't
Yes.
it?
What I'm asking is, I see every morning when I wake up here, the taxi ranks are full, the buses are full, all of them are driving out.
Yeah.
People are going to call centers. Why are those companies not building
Well,
here?
exactly-
Therefore, we're saving
exactly
on
the point,
transportation.
yep.
We don't have to be going to all these other places.
Quite right.
You know, so for me, that's why I say that we're not there yet. Because the mere fact that I still need to convince a lot of clients to come here, I still need to make sure I'm gonna security, I do all those things. It means the only time that is gonna start changing is when we actually start looking at this place not as a township.
Yes.
And
No,
looking
you're
at
right.
just like Santana and say, why is it that when Soweto builds a mall or Soweto builds a gym, it must make headlines?
Well, it's always been about consumption in the past. The development has been retail principally. You've got Maponya Mall, Protea Mall, Jabulani Mall, Barra Mall. They're all about shopping. And none of those shops, or very
And
few of
alcohol
them,
too.
are actually owned by Sowetans. So the key now is to take the places like the Orlando West Industrial Park and turn that into a hive of economic activity. Brand Soweto has got to be attaching itself to products that emanate from this township and move into the
segues nicely into the expo and festival
Right.
that you've recently concluded. What was the thinking behind that, and more importantly, did you achieve anything?
We achieved an immense amount, and ironically, we for the first time moved it out of the township. Let's put it that way, out of the Kazi, because for the last 6 years we've stationed it in Soweto, but we've grown so big that we can't actually do that anymore. So we moved it to Nasrec, which was a great decision. And the people of Soweto came in their tens of thousands, which was really tremendous.
A lot of our discussion this morning has been focused on the future, it's been focused on entrepreneurship, but we're also standing, talking in hallowed political ground. To what extent does that heritage still inform the brand?
What I find very worrying about the political space that Soweto owns as the things like 1976, it becomes stagnant. I mean, the youth of today are not dodging bullets. You know, the youth of today are dodging HIV, they are dodging unemployment and so forth, and teenage pregnancy. So that's just a little bit of concern in that this brand needs to also still be relevant. I mean, you look at New York, when you look at the famous NY, how it has changed over time, how it has allowed itself to be owned by different generations at different times. We cannot still be doing, when we see a museum, and the only thing we can think as black people is, I'm gonna wash the car and the windscreen and gut the house. We need to start having businesses that are registered in the JSE, and those businesses should have started here.
So Toby, let me give you the last word then. Obviously you can't plot a brand 5 years in advance, but short-term horizon, the next year to 18 months, where is this brand heading?
Well, I think, as Lebo said, the brand has to live in the hearts and the minds of the people of Soweto, but it also has to live in the greater Johannesburg region, because Soweto is part of Johannesburg, and the city of Johannesburg has done a lot to restore the brand, the pride of the brand of Soweto. I mean, in basic infrastructure, you know, roads, electricity, basic services. So those things are the foundation. Now it's a matter of taking that and building indigenous businesses and things that Soweto can be identified for. For example, education is a very important thing in this country, and why shouldn't Soweto become the pioneer in education and skills development in this country? We've got institutions such as University of Johannesburg, Southwest Gauteng College. We've got other institutions that can say to the rest of Africa, we're going to become a center of excellence for education. That, I think, is a future possibility.
So the view then of two experts. What, in your opinion, are the key attributes as far as brand Soweto is concerned? Your views on our Facebook page.